What's up guys, my name is Ace, and welcome back to another gun guide. This is the series where I go into great detail with all of the stats of every one of the guns in Modern Warfare 3. And in today's episode, we're going to skip ahead to the KV Inhibitor Sniper Rifle. And starting it off as always, let's have a look at our damage profile, and it turns out within the first two damage ranges, this is going to be a one-shot kill anywhere from the upper torso and up, as well as anywhere in the arms all the way down to the hands. So honestly, not bad at all for a semi-auto. However, when you drop off to that minimum damage range beyond 58.4 meters, this is where you now have to hit them in the head or the neck if you want to maintain a one-shot kill in core game modes. Thankfully, on the 6v6 maps at least, the vast majority of your gunfights will just naturally fall well within that range. Then let's have a look at our rate of fire, which is by far the best in the Modern Warfare 3 sniper rifle category at 130 rounds per minute. And this is just excellent for that follow-up shot if you're dealing with multiple enemies, or if you happen to miss the first shot. In some situations at least, you may have time for that second shot, but more often than not, you probably won't in a face-to-face gunfight. As for our aim down sight time, this is the best out of the Modern Warfare 3 sniper rifles at 540 milliseconds, which is still a pretty slow aim down sight time when you compare it to like assault rifles and SMGs, but we can definitely still improve this quite a bit from here with attachments. Additionally, our sprint out time is pretty solid for a sniper rifle at 273 milliseconds. Just like with all the other sniper rifles though, this really only comes into play if you're hip firing out of sprint, which you should avoid doing, because just like with all of the other sniper rifles, our hip fire spread is horrible, and you almost never want to hip fire with this gun if it can be avoided. After that, let's have a look at our reload add time, which isn't that bad compared to some of the other sniper rifles, but it's still a bit on the slower side in my opinion at 1.82 seconds. And then when it comes to our swap speed, this is very noticeably better than the past two sniper rifles at least, at 1.5 seconds. Then taking a look at our bullet velocity, this is surprisingly really good at 820 meters per second, so this should generally never be an issue for you, especially within the effective range of this gun, which of course is within those first two damage ranges. Then when it comes to our mobility stats, our base movement speed and our aim walking movement speed are great for sniper rifles. However, for some reason, our sprint speed is held back a bit with this gun, and we don't sprint as fast as some of the other ones. It's not like it's way below average or anything, it's just a bit interesting that the other stats are well above average, but our sprint speed is actually a bit below average for the Modern Warfare 3 sniper rifles. Then one of the bigger downsides with the KV Inhibitor is our Flinch Resistance. We do have the worst Flinch Resistance out of the sniper rifle category, and I believe it's actually the worst in the game, at least as far as Modern Warfare 3 weapons go. So if you're using this gun, I highly recommend pairing it with marksman gloves, and perhaps even putting that rear grip on that will significantly improve Flinch Resistance as well. After that, let's have a quick look at our idle sway, and with this gun, it might not seem like it's swaying as much as like the XRK Stalker or the Cat AMR. This is just due to the fact that your optic is zoomed out a lot. It appears to have roughly the same sway as all of the other snipers. And then finally, let's have a look at the default sniper optic on this compared to the other sniper rifles in the game. And as you can see, just like with the longbow, this is a much lower zoom optic compared to the Cat AMR and the XRK Stalker, which is generally a good thing for this type of gun because you typically aren't using this at like extremely long ranges, and therefore having an extremely high zoom can actually get in the way of the majority of your gunfights. So there we go, I did manage to blast through all of the important stats with this gun, so now let's already get into our excellent attachment combinations with this, and we're going to be following suit with the same trend as the previous two gun guides. Let's have a look first at my balanced KV Inhibitor build. With this one, we're using the Sonic Suppressor, primarily for its bullet velocity benefit, but it also keeps you off the radar, and it doesn't hurt our aim down sight speed at all. We also have the Kustovia Jek 40 barrel, the Ivanov wood stock, the Ivanov ST70 rear grip, and then finally the SL skeletal vertical underbarrel, because that one helps with our aim down sight speed and a little bit with our vertical recoil. And since this is a semi-auto, recoil actually comes into play at least to a small degree, unlike the bolt actions where recoil is basically irrelevant. And with this build, we cut down on our aim down sight time nicely. It's now 477 milliseconds. Our sprint out time is also cut down, but still essentially irrelevant. Flinch resistance didn't change at all, so I definitely use this build with marksman gloves. Our bullet velocity is also improved slightly, and finally, we are off the radar since we have that suppressor, which can be great if you want to get around the map a bit with this build and stay off the radar at the same time. So that one's just a great all-arounder with really nice balanced stats where I didn't really sacrifice anything too important with it. Next, let's get into my Quickscope build, and this one can actually be used very effectively even on the really small maps. Like even on shipment, you can use this very effectively. And with this, we once again have that Kustovia Jek 40 barrel, the SL skeletal vertical underbarrel. We've got the Schlager Pecbox 4 laser, which is the one that's not a visible laser, so you can still feel free to pre-aim corners. Yes, you can get a slightly faster aim down sight speed with one of the visible lasers. I just felt it was unnecessary with this gun, since we're getting a really good aim down sight speed for a sniper rifle already. We also have the Corio Eagle's Eye 2.5x optic, so it's a little lower zoom, a bit better suited to close quarters engagements. And then finally, the Ivanov wood stock. And with all of this combined, our aim down sight speed is amazing for a sniper rifle at 427 milliseconds. Like I said, you can technically get a faster aim down sight speed with this, but I feel like you're just sacrificing in too many other areas, and this is a very solid aim down sight speed for a quickscoping build. Our sprint time is also improved. Again, not really relevant though. Flinch resistance didn't change at all, and that's another thing I want to point out. We could have put a rear grip on here to improve our aim down sight speed even more, but that particular grip would also be harming our flinch resistance, and since it's already so bad by default in this area, I definitely don't want to do that. And it's also worth noting, I did sacrifice a little bit in the bullet velocity department, but this should never really come into play within the ranges that you should be using this gun. 791 meters per second is still an amazing bullet velocity within the effective ranges of this. So there we go, that's my quickscoping build, and I really enjoy using this particular one, and I'll use it on a wide variety of maps as well. It doesn't have to just be a close quarters map, because you can still stretch your range out a little bit for a precise shot, while still really holding your own nicely in more close quarters engagements. And with that, this leaves us with one last build I want to share for you guys, and this is my long range build. Which admittedly, if I am going for a long range sniper build, I'm probably just going to go in the direction of the Cat AMR or the XRK Stalker over this one, since if you do drop off to that minimum damage range, now this gun is not very useful at all, since you have to hit a head or neck shot. But in saying that, I did manage to balance this quite nicely for long range engagements. And with this one, we are using that sonic suppressor muzzle primarily for bullet velocity. We've got the Cast 10 584mm barrel, the SL skeletal vertical underbarrel, the Exotac stock since I want to lean really heavily into idle sway, as well as the Brace LS, which is also going to help massively with idle sway, on top of a 50% reduction to our flinch. And with this setup, while we do have a bit of a slow aim down sight speed, for really long ranges, 603 milliseconds isn't going to be a problem. Sprint out time is harmed a bit, but doesn't really matter. Flinch resistance, like I said, massive improvement there. Also, our bullet velocity is incredible at 1,074 meters per second, so even at extremely long ranges, you just point and shoot. You don't have to lead your target or compensate for bullet drop. You literally just put your sight on target and you will hit right on that spot. And with this, like I said, I leaned really heavily into idle sway, which is excellent. As you can see, when you aim down sight, there is very little movement. And especially with a gun like this, it has those really quick follow-up shots. I find this is excellent to move from target to target, even at super long ranges, with really nice precision and no need to hold your breath. Of course, we are also off the radar when firing with this. And I should mention, we also managed to extend our minimum damage range out to 81 meters instead of 58 meters. So now we've got a lot more forgiveness there where you can just shoot them anywhere in the upper torso or arms. You just want to ensure that you're not trying to challenge gunfights beyond 81 meters because you will need a headshot beyond there. And with that, that's going to wrap it up for today's gun guide on the KV inhibitor. As for my thoughts on this gun, honestly, I underestimated this gun. I just thought it was going to be a typical semi-auto sniper rifle that's just a hit marker machine and you have to be super precise with your shot, like only hitting upper torso, for instance. But what I found after using it is it's actually very consistent, like way more consistent than I thought it would be. And I do consider it to be one of the best sniper rifles, at least for 6v6. Now, obviously, for really long ranges, there are better options out there. But within the vast majority of gunfights you'll find yourself in with 6v6, the KV inhibitor is excellent. Now, of course, these are just my opinions on this gun, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about it in those comments down below. Also, if you guys missed any of the previous episodes of Gun Guides, I will leave a link to the playlist in the description of the video. If you enjoyed this one, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.